Hello everyone, welcome back to Talking History. Wow, that's it's been a very long time since I've said that. So if you are new here, hi, my name's Liz. I am not an historian. I'm just someone who is extremely passionate about history, and I love to share all of that passion with all of you. Oh, it's been a while since I've said that. So first things first, I'd like to apologise for my unexpected long absence. It wasn't meant to have been. The absence wasn't meant to have been long. It was not meant to have been this long anyway. It was last year in November. Things started to happen at work, and it just got a bit busy. And I was doing more and more hours. I was covering a lot, which meant I didn't have time for here. It's just one of those things. Life takes over, work takes over. It's just one of those things. And it should have only have been 4 weeks, but 4 weeks turned into 6 weeks. 6 weeks turned into you get the idea. And then before we knew it, Christmas hit. So I had a little time off over Christmas. Not much. I worked Christmas Eve night into Christmas morning, so I had Christmas Day, which was nice. Anyway, and then so I'd all planned of getting back in the new year, and then the new year hit. I fell ill, and then it was my birthday, so we went away for a few days, and both of us needed that time away. And then I'd all planning on doing the videos when I got back, and I fell ill again. And then I recovered, started to get better, and then I thought, right, filming again. Then I fell ill again. And I've been back and forth to the doctors. I've had blood tests, I've had everything, and they've changed my medication, and touch wood, fingers crossed, I'm doing okay. And then, ironically, last week I did fall ill again, but and it's just one of those things. It happens. It's the germ season. So anyway, never mind. And also, I want to apologise for wet hair and pasty pale face. This is me. I literally got up out of the shower. I got up this morning, showered, had breakfast, and I thought, right, let's film. Because if I don't do it today, I don't think I would have ever done it, and I wouldn't have come back. Which would have been a shame for me anyway, because I really enjoy it. And also, I'd like to thank all of you for all of your patience, for all of your lovely messages, and make sure I'm okay. And that really, really meant a lot. So thank you so much. And all of your new subscribers, hello, welcome. It's so nice. And I want to get back into filming. I have really missed it, and every time I read something new on history or I listen to a new podcast, and I'm just like, oh, that makes such a good video, and it's just trying to get that oomph to do it again. So like I said, if I didn't do it today, I don't think I would have done it at all. So here we are. Also, one more thing. Sorry. One more thing. I don't think I can commit to weekly videos just yet, as things are still kind of settle into place. So, but I should be able to do fortnightly. So if you won't see me next week, but it will be the week after. But I'm hoping, I got a bit of fluff flying around. In time, I will be able to go back to commit to weekly videos. Anyway, so the very last video I did, I had to look back on. It's been a while. Was the part 1 of Richard I, Richard the Lionheart. Now, if that's something you haven't seen, I will link it somewhere for you to go and find and watch. And I ended that video on the massacre of York. And I think that deserves its own video, but I must give you a content warning of today's video. There is content of antisemitic, I hoping I pronounced that right, and suicide. And obviously there's an awful lot of violence. And if those are things you can't listen to at the moment, I completely understand. Just concentrate on yourself, and I'll see you for another video. But let's get into today's video. Oh, it's been a while since I've said that. Clifford's Tower in York is one of the worst anti-Semitic massacres started already in the Middle Ages, taking place in 1190. The entire Jewish community of York was trapped inside the tower by an angry mob. Many members of the community chose to commit suicide over being murdered or being forcibly baptised by their attackers. Harley is outside the door meowing, so that so you can hear. It's because I got the door shut and he doesn't like it. England's Jewish population had come to England after the Norman conquest in 1066. Now, the Norman kings had needed to borrow money in order to build the castles and secure their kingdom. But for Christians, money lending was forbidden. It was, however, permitted by the Jews, and this resulting in the French-speaking Jews having the protection of the crown. The Jews in that time had established communities in most principal cities. I am so sorry if you can hear Ali. Of England in the 12th century, and members of the Jewish community settled in York. Hostility was growing towards the Jewish population in England, partly due to public disagreements in theology between Jewish scholars and Christian churchmen. During the 12th century, vicious stories were spreading accusing Jews of murdering Christian children, and that strengthened the anti-Semitic sentiment in England. In 1189, King Henry II died, and the crown passed to his eldest surviving son, Richard the Lionheart. And Crusade fever was sweeping the country, and this also brought a rise in anti-Semitic behaviour. Benedict of York was one of the leading members of York's Jewish community and a moneylender, and one of several Jews to attend Richard's coronation in London, paying their respects to their new king. But their arrival sparked outrage and they were refused entry. They were attacked, and there were some reports that suggested they were ordered to be whipped. Benedict received fatal wounds and he died in Northampton whilst trying to return home. But Benedict was forced to convert to Christianity and adopt the name William. On his deathbed, Benedict renounced his conversion, but he wasn't granted a Jewish burial or a Christian one. A rumour was spreading that Richard the Lionheart had ordered for the expulsion of the Jews, and soon mobs of Christians were rioting against their Jewish neighbours, with what they believed to be the king's permission to commit of the anti-Semitic violence. One of the wealthiest men in medieval England at that time was a man named Aaron of Lincoln. He was wealthier than King Henry II, to which he was also the king's financial agent. Aaron of Lincoln had many properties. He financed monasteries, even some of England's great cathedrals, including Lincoln Cathedral. He was also one of the main money lenders. So when he died in 1189, many of his loans remained outstanding, and by law, the money passed to the king, which was Henry II. But Aaron's affairs were so extensive, it took a dedicated department of England's exchequer 15 years to complete. In York, a man named Richard Malbise, I really hope I pronounced that right, had seen the rise in anti-Semitism as an opportunity to be free of the debts he owed to the moneylenders. So he raised a mob to attack the property of an agent of Aaron of Lincoln's, believing that the debt records, he had those debt records, but things quickly got out of hand and the attack claimed the lives of Benedict of York's widow and children when the mob attempted to loot and burn their house. There were some reports that they were still inside their home when it was set alight. Josco, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, of York, who was understandably frightened by what happened, had rounded up as many of York's Jewish families as he could, and he led them to the castle. There they secured themselves inside until the violence subdued. But unfortunately, things didn't simmer down. The angry mob surrounded them and demanded that they be forcibly baptized. The sheriff and his men were called, but for 3 days both the mob and the Jews refused to stand down. The Jews were now beginning to run out of food and water. They were promised they would be safe if they were to leave the tower, but would have to agree to be baptized. The Jewish families were faced with a difficult decision. Would the mob who had already killed one Jewish family remain to their word, be true of their word? And if they were, would the Jews be willing to forsake their own faith for someone else's? The decision was made. They would trust their own hands over that of the mob. On Friday, the 16th of March, 1190, Josco and Rabbi Yom Tov oversaw a mass suicide pact in order to save their souls from the mortal sin of suicide. The father of each family killed his wife and children before being killed by Yom Tov himself, leaving the rabbi alone to set fire to the tower so their bodies couldn't be mutilated by the mob, and takes his own life. There were some who had chosen to face the mob and managed to survive the fire, left of what remained of the keep, and pleaded for Christian mercy in return to be baptized. But sadly, they didn't receive it. The mob brutally slaughtered them before they marched to York Minster, where the records of debts were kept. They compelled the guards and handed them over, and they had them all burned. When King Richard learnt of what had happened, he believed it to be an insult to his honour, and a royal inquest was held. York's constable and sheriff were both dismissed. Malbis had his property confiscated and he escaped to Scotland. Over 50 citizens of York were heavily fined, and there was a change in the law which protected the interests of the king in similar offence. Richard introduced a system where all of the debts held by Jews were duplicated to the crown, but the massacre of York left a terrible mark on the city. It was said that a Jewish curse, a cherem, I hope that's right, was placed on the city, and that the Jews weren't supposed to spend time there, and to certainly not eat or spend the night there. The curse was lifted following a ceremony conducted at the site in 1990 by the then Chief Rabbi and Archbishop of York. In 1978, a plaque commemorating the massacre was installed at the foot of the tower. In 1250, a stone building was built on the same site of the original wooden tower. In 1992, 200,000 daffodils were planted on the mound. The daffodils' 6 petals represented the 6 points of St. David's star. The stunning display had become a feature of York and a tribute to the victims of one of the most vicious times in York's history. And there we are. It's not one of the best videos to come back on, but I thought it needed to be told. And once again, it proves why history is so important. It's there to be learned from. I would love to say that it no longer happens, but you and I both know that unfortunately we still live in a world where places it does. And I, for one, would love that it didn't. But there we are. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for all of your patience and for remaining with me. It really means a lot. And I have really missed doing this video. I really missed doing this channel. Why am I crying? Anyway, I will be back. I promise I will be. I won't be back next week, unfortunately, because I just how things are going at the moment, but I will be back in a fortnight's time. So, and the videos will still upload on Sundays. And once all things die down, I really do want to try and go around cathedrals and castles, see if I can film around them. Well, especially what's local by me. I've got Hereford Cathedral, Worcester Cathedral, Tewkesbury Abbey. I'd love, there's so much history involved in all of them. And I would love to start going around them at some point. And I would love to take you with me. So please do like, share and subscribe and just keep being amazing, because you're all bloody wonderful, and don't let anyone tell you different, because they have to deal with me. Anyway, look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you all soon.